back.
We're back, Evie. Had to go check on the kids. And didn't want this video to last for an hour. Okay. Closer to the answer now. First of all, a thought about the last video, you might say, oh, you're married. It's easier said than done to say, don't cross any lines. I appreciate that. And that's what I would have said. But one thought, I know how strong the desire is to be physical in a dating relationship. But you know what? That desire was stronger for me earlier in my singleness, before I experienced some healing. The reason that desire was so strong is because I was mistakenly using physical affection and physical attention from a man as a substitute for actual self-love and being a good recipient of God's love for me. And so I needed a man's affection to convince me I'm attractive, I'm desirable. And it was that those are lies. That's not the way that a man convinces you of those things. And so I think the more healed we are in terms of knowing our identity and value as the bride of Christ, I think the easier it will be to hold lines for the right reason. Not because we're like desperate for someone to fill in a hole that we have in our hearts. Do you agree with that?
I agree. That's a good observation, and a really good point. And I hadn't really thought about it from a healing timeline kind of a thing, but it's a physical is a terrible substitute for, or a terrible way to find affirmation. That's always going to lead down a bad path. And you always hear the preachers talk about it or whatever. Okay, well, what are they going to be down the line? Well, I kind of agree with that. I mean, we're in a constant trajectory of decay. We're not getting better looking. We're getting older. But it basically saying, if it is that it's physical, and that's the genesis or the origin of your affirmation, that may fade. And there are going to be so many other things that need to be glue that hold you together besides just the physical affirmation. And I wouldn't even look there for affirmation. I mean, that's kind of a given. Guys are going to find you attractive or they're not. And so you don't need the physical. That's right. They're not going to date you if they don't find you physically attractive. So that mystery's solved. You can leave that one off the table. You don't need to try it out and try it on to make sure that it works. So, yeah.
Okay. Let's answer the question now. Where is the line? Mm-hmm. I actually think that is the wrong question. That kind of presupposes, okay, here's the end, and how close can I get to it without crossing it, without sinning? I think the question is, how well can I get to know this person and determine if he or she would make a good partner? Mm-hmm. I think that's the question. And if the physical is preventing you from getting to know that person and determining if they would make a good partner, then that's too physical. Another question would be, how can we both honor God, each other, and be more Christ-like in our physical relationship? This is your brother or sister in Christ. This might be, and actually is likely to be, someone else's husband or wife, because all of your relationships are going to fail except one of them, resulting in marriage. And so if you look at it as, these are not yet my goods, these could be somebody else's goods, would you want to go heavily pet another man's wife? Probably not. In another sense, we are all Jesus's wife. And so would you want to do that to Jesus's wife? I kind of think of it like a grocery store or any store. You go in, first you buy the stuff, and then you eat it or sample it or taste it. There's so much, I did this in my relationships incorrectly. There's so much acting like husbands and wives without actually having the commitment first. It's like you put the cart before the horse, the order is backwards. I'd go home and cook for the guy, and I didn't do his laundry, but I might as well, did the grocery shopping. He hadn't married me. I'm not his wife. Why would he need to marry me if I'm taking care of his domestic, affairs, and if he's getting all the physical intimacy he wants with me, then there is no motivation to marry me. So I'm going to stop there. I have one more thing to say, but I'm going to stop there and go to
keep going.
Okay, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
I think it's so important because we don't want just a rule, the what. We want to know the why. The why helps us obey the rule. The what without the why is short term. We've got to understand the why. Why? What is the purpose of physical affection? What is the purpose of kissing and hand holding and sex and everything short of sex? There are a couple of reasons. One is it's glue. God designed these things as glue to hold one man and one woman together for the rest of their lives. And why do you need to be glued to someone you don't know if you're going to be with the rest of their lives? Physical intimacy is also a type and a shadow of the intimacy among the Godhead. I read a book. If you read my book, you'll read about this book in that book, and it's called God, You, and Sex by David White. He says at the beginning, sex is about God. And I was like blown away, like, what are you talking about? I had never heard that. Sex, physical intimacy, this aspect of our relationship, it's about God. It's not about you. It's not about him getting his needs met. So understanding the why behind the rule, I think, helps us want to obey the rule.
Yeah.
So where is the line? I think that's the wrong question, and I think there is no one size fits all answer. Agreed.
And I can tell you from a man's perspective on it, I think viewing women as daughters of God, like, prepares the way that hopefully I continue in my marriage of looking at marriage, the institution of it being a privilege, not like, oh, it's mine now to consume. She's still God's daughter, first and foremost. And I can look at her individuality that way and not lose track of, no, she's my wife. No, she's God's daughter first and foremost. And that matters. And to be able to approach dating, relationship, and even our marriage respectfully in that regard is extremely important. I can always return back to that being the identity so that I don't overstep, because it's easy to kind of objectify people. And I think the opposite, or not looking at them as God's special creation. We objectify people all the time. It's a natural thing. I think that also specifically, I would say for younger men, I think that this would be an extremely important area to have accountability around. I think I would encourage, if you're dating someone and they don't, I would say that if you're struggling in this area, I don't think that the opposite sex should be the coach on it. I think you should say, I think you need to get involved with a group of men where you can have accountability around this and be able to be honest about your struggles, and to keep that accountability so that it's not just you violated me if we go past these areas. You also are going to be speaking to men who are holding the same standards. And then to me, that just makes stronger brothers. It makes a stronger church. It makes stronger discipleship. And it's out there, but I think, and same with the women. I think that's an important thing of, okay, we're holding the line, and there are men out there that we can find who are holding this line, and they do respect the purity. And it's not just for the sake of purity itself. It's because they know what it is to be in honoring God, and they want to reserve that and preserve it, and they want it to be held so that their marriage means something down the line.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. Just real quick, she asked about engagement also.
Mm-hmm.
I can see how the logic, okay, we're almost going to be married. I mean, I think we were a little more physical within a couple days of our marriage, definitely like a week max. But I think any sooner than that is potentially foolish because you don't know. I have been engaged and ended up canceling or breaking off an engagement. You just never know. But again, it's not like, oh, how much can we get? That's not the right frame of mind. It's how can we honor God?
Right. So, yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right. Thanks for watching.